So this was a little mini episode where I read an article that I have posted on our website, floorsteerhome.com. Regular episodes are a little longer. They're discussions, probably a lot more fun to listen to. But hey, I want to tack on my standard message for every episode, and that's always get a floor sample. Get a sample of the floor you want to buy and take it into that bedroom, bathroom, or kitchen and make sure that the color looks right to you in your room. Don't go by our computer screen. Don't go by your phone's computer screen. It's a computer screen. Who knows how it's calibrated? Get a sample. Always get a sample. Thanks a lot, and I'm sorry if you listen to a bunch of these, it's going to sound exactly the same when I say this. See you next time. Hi, listeners. This is another Making Flooring Easy mini episode, reading one of the articles from floorsteerhome.com's Expert Center. The topic this week is about looks and prices, and we have a few pieces that talk about flooring looks. You know, obviously, they're pretty well illustrated, and so you might even want to check them out and look at them visually. But if you want to just hear the article, I'm going to read the article. At the time this was written, it was really focused on laminate flooring. But to be honest, everything I say about the laminates in here could at this point apply to vinyl. The ability of both vinyl and laminate to capture authentic wood looks, they're pretty well matched now. So you can almost have any look you want in any hard surface floor. Hardwood, vinyl, laminate, they all can have a very authentic hardwood look if you need the features of another type of floor but still want your floor to look a certain way. So as I'm reading, when I talk about laminate, because I'm just reading the article straight, you can think the same things would be true of vinyl in most cases. Getting the look you want. It is likely that there is a laminate for every wood species ever used for flooring, as well as for a variety of styles of stone and ceramic flooring. Remember that the look of a particular kind of laminate flooring comes from the photo fused onto the core board, so laminates can look like anything that can be photographed. There are so many options in laminate flooring today that there is no reason you shouldn't be able to get the exact style you're after. Yes, market demands might prevent a look like scattered gravel or sharp tacks and nails all over the place from being produced due to a low demand for those looks in a floor, but otherwise, it should look just like you want it to. There are also varieties of each of those styles because of differing plank sizes and finish types. Textured surfaces can enhance the overall impression, making images dazzlingly realistic. Buying a new floor is a pretty big deal. Even if the expense doesn't have a once-a-decade feel for you, it's still something you will live with and live on for quite a while. Now, we work to make our pictures and descriptions as accurate as possible, but we still can't control differences from computer monitor to computer monitor. This is why we really can't understate how valuable samples could be for you in making this decision. We can send you good size pieces, the full width of the planks by about 8 or 9 inches, so you can hold them in your hand and see them right in your room. It's a great way to check out the features, and we'll go over those features with the idea of your having samples in mind, so you can get the most out of having them in hand. Features of laminate flooring. Aside from the broadest categories, wood or stone, for instance, which you can probably navigate without our aid, here are some things to consider, especially when choosing your wood-style laminate floor and evaluating samples. Color and tone. While technically not the same things with laminate flooring, they effectively are. We're talking about an overall color sense. With hardwood, any species can be stained, and so with laminate flooring, we can have a cherry that looks brown or one that looks red. It's the impression one will get when standing back and looking at a whole room. If you can't get a fix on the rough coloring, with a sample for instance, set the sample down, propped by a pillow on a couch, and step back from it. With wood details lost in the distance, it might be easier for you to determine this is a golden floor. We separate our flooring into such categories, so if you know the overall color of your room, that might help you find the specific flooring you need. You should know that an installed floor can sometimes seem a little darker than your samples. More of the darker color covering your floor will absorb more light in general. Also, if you're holding a sample while you stand, you might be closer to a window or light source than your floor is. It's just something to consider, certainly not a universal thing. Below, you will see a variety of tones or colors of maple. And then I have 8 pictures. The word tone might help make a useful verbal distinction as if it is a sub-quality of color. If you have a style of laminate you mostly like, but it's not quite right, you might be able to determine about, say, a golden colored sample that it needs to be less yellow in tone. Since you can communicate that to a customer service person and they know our products by sight, they should pretty easily lead you to some good new options for your room. Grain. What you can determine with samples is how prominent the grain look is for your particular choices. Some have little to no grain, while for other types the grain is so sharp and dark that it defines the floor. It's an important consideration. What a single sample may not show you is a variation in grain. Some grain patterns are basically long and straight or just mildly arced. Others can go a little wild here and there, swirling into bird's eyes or suddenly diverting in direction. Since your sample is only one piece of one plank, if you want a sense of the variations, go back to the product page on our site where we'll have fuller images, room images, and in most cases the product will be available in our room visualizer. Or please just call us and we can describe it or even send you pictures of a few representative planks to give you a good grasp on your choice. Finish. Finish is the top protective layer, but in addition to protecting, it has an effect on how the board looks. The basics are high gloss and matte, with semi-gloss kind of falling in the middle. High gloss is usually referred to by salesmen as having a piano finish. It's striking and one of the best reasons you should get a sample so you can see it. Matte means the manufacturer deliberately made the surface less slick, less reflective. If you're not sure which type of finish you'd be happiest with, please get a sample of each. There's no substitute for having the actual floor in your hand so you can see it for yourself. Texture. The top surface of your flooring might have a texture other than smooth. Laminate technologies are almost developing faster than animation did in the 1930s, and one of the recent features is the availability of textured surfaces that can resemble the natural hand-scraped look of hardwood flooring. The two main types are hand-scraped and distressed. In some cases, the grain in the image and the texturing are made to match up exactly, a feature called embossed in registration. The pictures below will open larger in new windows. Look in the glare and you'll see how these surface differences look. And then I have 4 pictures. Edges. The edges of your laminate can be designed to do one of two things: not show the division between planks at all, or deliberately reveal them. The first will leave you with one big, smooth floor, the kind you want to slide around on in your clean socks. The edges of this type are called squared, if they're called anything. The second kind will have beveled or micro-beveled edges, where each edge curves or angles down rather than dropping at a 90-degree angle. When boards meet, the edges create grooves like one would have between boards of hardwood, and that's why these exist, to enhance the hardwood look. Another enhancement is called French bleed, where the edges have a darkened, almost burnt look, adding to the real wood effect. That's it. Thanks for listening to Making Flooring Easy. This podcast is executive produced by Floors to Your Home, or Dan Kahn, some combination thereof, and it is conceived, produced, edited, audio cleaned, all of that by W. David Lichty, and that's me. Music from each episode comes from the website freepd.com, where you can find music for your own podcasts. And for the most part, we generally wind up using music by Kevin MacLeod, who's been making free usable music for more than a decade, and it's generally really great stuff. And listen, if you've got a question we haven't answered on this podcast yet, and you don't want to wait or look us up on our written resource center, give us a call. We want to be your floor answering people. So we're not salespeople. We're customer service at Floors to Your Home. Call us at 1-800-804-5251 with any questions.